Good morning, school, and I hope you're okay this fine day. I want you to work with me on something today. I'm going to ask you to do a favour. I'm going to ask everyone to stand up. In your classrooms, form tutors, if you could help me with this, get everyone to stand up. Now, I know that some of the sixth form will be thinking, I'm too grown up for this. Just go with it. Just do me a favour. Stand up, because I'd like to play a game. And to do that, I want you all to stand up. Even if you're watching at home, stand up. Okay, this is a really, really easy game. There's nothing particularly difficult about this. What's going to happen is I'm going to share a series of facts with you. Things that may or may not be true. There might be true, there might be stuff that I've just made up. And after I share the fact, if you think it's true, just stay standing up. If you think it's a big fat lie, a big fat fib, then you sit down. Easy as that. So if you think it's true, stay standing up. If you think it's a lie, sit down. So you should all be standing up. Now let's try our first fact. The Welsh word for cappuccino is frothy coffee. Okay, that's with a double F on frothy coffee. Do we think that's true, or is that a big fat lie? So if you think it's true, stay standing up. If you think it's a lie, sit down. Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds or so to make your decision. The Welsh word for cappuccino is frothy coffee. If you think it's true, stay standing up. If you think it's a lie, sit yourself down. Believe it or not, it's true. I have here a photo for you of a menu from a Welsh coffee bar. The Welsh word for cappuccino is indeed frothy coffee. So some of you will have got that right, some of you got it wrong. Doesn't matter if you got it wrong. Everyone else, now back stand up. We all stand up again. Let's try fact number 2. Let's see if we can do better or stay equally as good on number 2. So fact number 2. There is more pizza in 2 12-inch pizzas than 1 18-inch pizza. Okay, so you go into Domino's, you go to church, you go to buy 2 12-inch pizzas or 1 18-inch pizza. If you think you get more pizza in your 2 12-inch pizzas, stay standing up. If you think that 1 18-inch pizza would give you more pizza, sit down. If you think it's true, stay standing up. If you think it's a lie, sit down. I'll give you 5 seconds. Believe it or not, it's a lie. Now, Mr. Sobey and the maths department will be able to tell you this. It's pretty easy to work out. It's pi r squared. So an 18-inch pizza would give you 254 inch squared of pizza, whereas 2 12-inch pizzas would give you 226. There's more pizza in 1 18-inch pizza than 2 12-inch pizzas. Okay, everyone stand back up again. Let's try question number 3. Ah, little pussycat. Cats have 5 toes on their front paws, but only 4 on the back. Okay, we think about your fingers, think about your toes. You think cats have 5 toes on their front paws, but only 4 on the back. If you think that's true, stay standing up. If you think it's a big fat fib, sit yourself down. Give you a couple of seconds. So cats, 5 toes on the front, but only 4 on the back. Do you think that's true or false? It's true. It's some little evolutionary quirk. So cats have 18 toes. I should just point out that some cats are what we call polydactyl. Like I'm a vet, but some cats are polydactyl, which means they actually have more toes than that. But the kind of standard, the average, is 18 toes on a cat. What fun. Okay, everyone stand back up. We've got 2 more. 2 more questions, true or false. So stand up. Here's our next question. American farmers have crossed a cow and a bison to create a kind of giant cow-bison hybrid, and they call it a BEEFALO. Okay, cow-bison crossed to make a BEEFALO. If you think that's true, stay standing up. If you think that's a lie, sit yourself down. Believe it or not, it's true. And there is a picture of possibly the meanest beefalo I've ever seen in my life. Yes, there is a hybrid, and it is actually called a beefalo. And our last question, here we go. Everyone stand up again. Let's see how we go on this one. Mickey and Minnie Mouse wear gloves because Walt Disney couldn't draw hands. He's world famous animator, he just wasn't very good at hands. So that's why Mickey and Minnie Mouse wear gloves, apart from the fact they're mice and they wear gloves anyway. So if you think that's true, stay standing up. And if you think it's a lie, sit yourself down.
Well, actually, it's false, but not entirely false. It's a little more complicated than that. Walt Disney could, of course, draw hands, but actually, for animators, they put them in white gloves because A, it allowed the hands to stand out more, and B, actually the rounded edges made it easier to animate. It was simply to make their lives easy. So he could draw hands, so it's false, but there is a reason why they wear white gloves. Okay, now the reason we did that little exercise, and the thing that I wanted you to think about, was this. I am sure that there were times when you didn't know the answer. You may well not have been entirely sure whether to sit down or stand up. And in those situations, I'm pretty sure that there will be some of you that look to see what the majority were doing, look to see what everyone else did, didn't actually make a decision based on what you thought, but went along with the crowd and made a decision because your mate did, or someone that you trusted did. You, rather than think about it yourself, you kind of went with her. I'm pretty sure there'll be some people that sat down and then maybe stood up because everyone else was stood up, or vice versa. Now, actually, that's quite significant because we live in a world of misinformation. There are lots and lots of stories and rumours and urban myths and what Trump would call fake news out there. Every spring you can guarantee that there will be people around the world trying to balance an egg on its end, because there's this ridiculous story that says, oh, on the spring and autumn equinox, because the Earth's gravitational pull is in a certain way, you can balance an egg standing up. And there will be people that try it. It's complete and utter rubbish. It doesn't. You can stand an egg on the end if you've got a pretty flat end on an egg and a decent enough surface. It's just rather difficult. But you can do it any day of the week, any day of the year. It's not the gravitational pull of the Earth that's going to make a difference. Some similar thing about a broom challenge. You'll see people trying to stand a broom up because NASA has said that this can work. And even more recently, the coffee chain Costa was boycotted by a number of people. They boycotted it because a picture did the rounds on social media claiming to show that Costa was only allowing people into his stores who had been vaccinated. The picture was actually from Ireland, and that was a policy in Ireland, but it wasn't a policy in this country, and yet thousands of people all jumped on and they liked and they retweeted and they said, oh, I'm going to boycott Costa, even though the information they were basing it on was completely and utterly false. Now, this can be dangerous. There is a lot of misinformation out there. At the bottom left, as you look at it, there is a picture, supposedly of an anti-lockdown rally in Australia. 1 million people on Bondi Beach protesting against the kind of COVID-19 lockdown in Australia. The only problem is that actually that picture was taken a couple of years ago in Rio de Janeiro. The Pope was giving a mass in Rio, and millions of people flocked to worship. And yet that picture has been taken, put into a completely different context, and people will believe it. We saw the events in America at the storming of the Capitol. There were people who genuinely believed that they could stop the election and the confirmation of President Biden because of stuff that they'd read on the internet. Many of those people now finding themselves in jail, but they based decisions on stuff that they had read on the internet. And similarly, the FDA in America has had to send out a notice telling people that they shouldn't use ivermectin, which is a horse dewormer, because something has gone around on the internet saying that you can use this as a treatment for COVID-19, even though it's completely and utterly false. There is a lot of false information out there. And I suppose the reason why I'm talking to you today is that I want you to think carefully about that, to think carefully about what we believe, what we choose to believe, and what we listen to. So a few things to avoid misinformation. One of the first things I'd say is, trust the source, not the sharer. Someone you may know, someone you may trust, may share something or post it or retweet it without actually thinking about the provenance. So just because someone you know has posted it, that doesn't necessarily make it true. Don't, for goodness sake, just get your information from social media. We can live in this kind of little social media bubble where our pre-existing biases are confirmed by those around us, and we all say exactly the same thing. We think that that's the only opinion out there. Don't just get your information from social media. Look beyond that. Read books, watch the news, read newspapers, and when you do that, think about those recognised authoritative sources. If you're going to do your research, look at things like Reuters, the Associated Press News, Wall Street Journal. Think about the angle. When stuff is put out there, very often there is an angle. Someone has got a bias or an opinion behind it. Don't just trust things that you see and take it as read. Compare multiple sources. And finally, don't repost anything unless you are confident that it is accurate, that it is fact-checked. And a final point for you. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Abraham Lincoln, who said, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture with a quote next to it." Okay, thank you, school. Have a good day.